Good evening to all of you. On behalf of District 105, I welcome all of you to today's session, Humorously Yours, which is being conducted by Division D in collaboration with District Program Quality Team. The only way to get through life is to laugh your way through it. You either have to laugh or cry. I prefer to laugh. Crying gives me a headache. I have not said it. I just picked this quote up from Google. Google has definitely made our lives easy. Well, this is going to be an interesting evening full of fun and laughter. And all of us are here to learn how to tickle that funny bone. But if the evening does not go like this, then remember once again, I have not made this promise. Our PQD team and Division D team told me to say so. So this was my small attempt to draft a very humorous opening. I will not say much. I'm not very good at humor. Let me welcome our Program Quality Director, Distinguished Toastmaster 𝐰𝐤𝐽𝐽, who is going to throw some light on today's session. DTM 𝐰𝐤𝐽, as we all know, is a Toastmaster with vast experience, having held almost all leadership roles from club to district level. He always comes up with very creative sessions, educational sessions for our members, and we really appreciate him for that. On the professional level, he is a digital marketing consultant, having his own company. Without much ado, let's all welcome DTM 𝐰𝐤𝐽𝐽 to the virtual podium.
Thank you, DTM Namrata Pandey, our District Admin Manager, Division Directors, District Leaders, Toastmasters, and my dear friends. Victor Boge, a Danish-American comedian who has got nothing to do with 𝐰𝐤𝐽𝐽, once said, "Laughter is the shortest distance between two people." That is exactly the reason why we always love and cherish the company of people with whom we share moments of laughter and fun. Even the mention of a name, Charlie Chaplin, can bring smiles on our face. So the shortest or the shortcut to effective communication or winning hearts of the people is to speak humorously. And that is exactly why we have our 5th training session is on humorously speaking. The leader of the division who has taken up this responsibility to conduct the program with the help of his able team is here with us. Professionally, he is a Director of Information Technology at College of Banking and Financial Studies. He is also a part-time lecturer there. He is a dedicated Toastmaster who firmly believes in the 4 core values of Toastmasters: integrity, respect, service, and excellence. Last year, he dazzled all of us as an area director. And this year, he is a division director of the oldest division in Oman, Division D. And today, he is a captain of the ship who has done all the hard work in conducting and putting this session in place. Let's put our hands together to welcome Toastmaster Yaqub Alabri, Division D Director. Toastmaster Yaqub, the stage is yours. Over to you.
Thanks a lot, DTM 𝐰𝐤𝐽, for the lovely introduction. That's too much for me. And, you know, I can see myself as a part of the team, and the team done a great job arranging everything here. Today's training is about the humorous. And when we speak about the humorous, we are speaking about the essential things in the communication. We are speaking about something which is one of the main things which is very, very important to know about it, how to deliver humorous. And as mentioned by many of our team previously, the humorous is something which is very difficult to achieve. Because of that, our training today is about the humorous and how to deliver humorous speeches. So it is very important for me, before it is important for the team and for all Toastmasters in Oman, to know more about how can we deliver humorous speeches and what's the tips which can help either in the international speech or the humorous speech, and how this will help us in delivering our projects and our also speeches on the contest and whatever contest in either level, division, area, division, or district level. So, dear friends, I have someone who helped me a lot in terms of arranging everything related to our session today. She has a bachelor degree on computer science, which is a surprise to me. And she is a leader. She is a Toastmaster from a long time. She holds several roles on Toastmasters, like a president, VPM, treasurer, and she was part of the BQD team also for 2022. She is currently is assistant of BQD for Division D, and she is dedicated homemaker and blessed with two lovely girls. Please welcome with me the lady, which she is always saying, wishful thinking never solves any problem, only actions is do. Please welcome with me Toastmaster Farzana Niaz. Please, the stage is yours, Toastmaster Farzana.
Thank you so much, Division D Director Yaqub Alibri, for that lovely introduction. District dignitaries, leaders, and fellow Toastmasters, a very good evening and a warm welcome to all of you to this online workshop on Yours Humorously. Let's have a round of virtual applause for you, the participants, because this is all about you. Moving on, let me share with you a personal experience. In 2019, I gave my first humorous speech at our club level contest. It was also my last ever attempt at giving a humorous speech. The speech was supposedly a parody on the Dummies series of books. You may have seen them in the bookstores. Internet on Dummies, Accounting for Dummies, Psychology for Dummies, etc., etc. I started my speech by asking the question, how many of you here are dummies? And to my utter horror, several hands shot up immediately. I should have realized that in any Toastmasters meeting, when you say how many of you, hands will start to go up regardless of what comes next. From there on, my speech was a complete disaster. I broke out in a sweat. I started fumbling, and every punchline of mine was met with stony silence. The only saving grace for me was the timer's red light. After that, I decided that humor was not my cup of tea. And every year, when our club president asked me to give my name for the humorous speech, I would say, humor? Me? You must be kidding. But this evening, I have renewed my hopes once again. Today, we have in our midst a trainer who has earned the title DTM not once or twice, but 3 times. At the district level, he has been a contest winner in all 4 categories. I have heard his humorous speech at the district contest, and believe me, his humor doesn't just entertain, it also inspires. His ability to weave laughter into his speech is nothing short of magical. Before I invite this wonderful trainer to take the stage on, let me quickly brief you the structure of this session. We will have 2 segments, a half-an-hour workshop by the veteran humorous speaker, and this will be followed by a 10 minutes interactive question and answer session. A session where you can interact with trainer with your questions, either by typing them in the chat box or by using the raised hand emoji. Now, please allow me to introduce our trainer once again. He is an IT consultant by profession and success coach and a keynote speaker by passion. When I asked him for his introduction, he said, I have 2 kids and 1 wife. Love listening to rock music, watching movies, and torturing people with my cooking. So, ladies and gentlemen, are you all ready for this enthralling workshop? Thank you. Please join me in welcoming on the virtual platform Triple DTM Hashim Halim. DTM Hashim Halim, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Farzana. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this extremely serious session on speaking humorously. By listening to everyone in the pre-initiation period of this meeting itself, got a gist of what's going to work here today, what's not going to work here today. Everyone's seated like it's a classroom and it's going to be really serious. Believe me, humorous is a very serious business. We had the division director, who's the director of IT, and we had the moderator today. She is also an IT professional. I too am an IT consultant, something that we have in common. And there's a lot of things that I've learned from my IT profession. See, as an IT consultant, my job basically is to sell you software that you don't need for problems that you don't have at prices that you really shouldn't be paying. So basically, my job is to confuse you as much as I can, which helps in my humorous speeches as well, because I get good practice at work. Because if they laugh, they're likely to pay. That's the bottom line. So you get them on your side early, get them laughing, they're going to pay. In my introduction, we had the Toastmaster had mentioned about one of my passions, and believe me, I'm an absolute fan of cooking. Yeah. My mom's really proud of me. Yeah. When she recovered from food poisoning after my last biryani, she really appreciated me a lot. My favorite food is, the chicken biryani. How many of you love biryani? Anybody here? Yeah. See a few hands. Yeah. Right. The biryani is quite famous in this region and everybody loves it. So I thought that's the safest thing to practice my cooking skills on. Yeah. I phoned up my mom. I had a Zoom session with her, got the recipe for our famous, the part of India that I come from is Kerala, and we have a special biryani over there. So I got the recipe from her and I made it exactly like she said. I'm so proud of it, that I invited 5 of my friends over, come enjoy my special biryani. Innocently, they all came over. Innocently. I served it in a nice dish and, they sumptuously ate it up. All 5 of them, yeah. 3 of them are not my friends anymore. The other 2 became vegetarians. Dangers happen. You have to learn. That's how you learn. And humorous is just like that. If our moderator today initially tried and asked everybody, how many of you are dummies? Just because it didn't work then does not mean it's not going to work this year. So let's start with that. How many of you are dummies at humorous speaking? We're going to try and fix that today. We'll fix Farzana's speech and we're going to help you all fix your humorous speeches today as well, to make sure that this year we've got a lot of participants for the humorous speech contest. Yeah, done deal. But I need one thing from you guys. I need you to be interactive, spontaneous. I'll try and put some stuff in the chat. I want you to just connect with me and let's see if we can get you guys rolling. All right, let's get started with the humorous speech. One main difference between the humorous speech and an international speech, they're both speeches, they're both 7 minutes long. If you look at the judges sheet, there's an additional 15 marks for audience reaction. That's the main difference, right? So you've got to get your audience involved in your speech. In a nutshell, you can say, if they don't laugh, you're not going to win. Yeah, so you need them to cooperate with you and laugh. Couple of ways of doing that. Bring 25 of your friends into the hall, make them laugh. Yeah, that sometimes works. If you can get 7 of them to be the judges also, yeah, that may work. But none of these are going to happen. So you have to make them laugh. right? So let's see what we can do to make people laugh. The one thing that I've learned from trying and delivering humorous speeches and interacting with audiences is it all comes down to one single sentence: how you say it. If you say it well, you can get people to laugh. If you say it wrong, the funniest statement, nobody's going to laugh. It's all about how you say it. So let's look at how we can tell a joke. Let me just share my screen for a second. Yep, here we are. Yeah, as you can see, I'm very creative with my cover pages. Yeah. All right, so here we are. How you say it. It starts up with a few words that you're going to give an introduction to everybody about the joke that you're about to say, right? So it shows your attitude, the topic, and the premise. So look at that nice, cute minion over there, happy, jolly, probably at his first day of work. And he's happy that his boss told him to have a good day. My boss told me to have a good day. That's your setup. Now, what this setup does is it brings the audience into your joke until you're going to hit them with your punchline. Absolutely right. So the joke goes, my boss told me to have a good day, so I went home. Something that you didn't expect. That's what the punchline usually is, right? Something, a misdirection. You take them in one direction and you hit them with a punchline that is totally somewhere else that nobody expected. So you tell the premise in such a way, my boss told me to have a good day. So you lead people into thinking, all right, so I worked hard, I completed my projects, I had a great performance that day, or I was motivated. This is where you're taking them. And the punchline is something completely different. So I went home. So I watched cricket, which ended early. So I was able to attend this session today. Now, a few things that I want you to understand about how you say it. The number of words is important. If it's too long and you have a punchline at the end of it, say you spoke for 3 minutes and at the end of it you have a punchline, it's unlikely to work. You need the number of words to be shorter. The distance from one joke or one punchline to the next punchline in your speech, try and reduce it as much as possible. The 3 dots at the end of your premise or the end of your setup, that's a pause, right? Pause builds the anticipation over there. So my boss told me to have a good day, so I went home, right? So you have a pause there which builds the anticipation and sets up your punchline. Your punchline is the star of your joke. So you want it to be on a pedestal. You want people to hear it clearly. You want people to react at the end of it. So I went home. That's your punchline. Now, quick question. What should you do at the end of your punchline? You can unmute yourself if it's allowed. You can unmute yourself and shout it out.
Pause.
Correct. You're absolutely right. You should pause. If your joke works, which it should, what's going to happen? People are going to be laughing. Some are enjoying, some are smiling, some are giggling. Fair enough. They're enjoying that moment. Okay. When you start talking again, what happens? They stop laughing. They stop whatever they were doing. That fun is over. And they're listening to what you're going to say next. So give that pause so that you can savor that moment. You can milk that moment and the laugh continues, because that's what you're here for. You're here to make them laugh. So give that pause to make sure that they are laughing, right? Speaking at that time is called walking all over your joke. And you don't want to do that. You want to let people enjoy your joke. All right, let's move on. Yeah, I shouldn't be clicking that. So we're going to be talking now about what material you can build to give jokes. Where are we going to find this humor, Hashim? Where are we going to find these funny things to talk about? So my call on this is humor is all around. It's on the way we look at things. Anything in your day-to-day life, things that happen, stories from your life, situations that you're in can be presented in a funny manner. Even situations where things went bad, stories of your life where maybe things went wrong. Those can be brought out in a humorous manner. When it happened, okay, fine, it was bad. But now at this point, when you look back at those stories, you can have a laugh over it, right? So situations where things go wrong, I mean, driving test. Everybody has jokes about their driving test. Being stuck in traffic, going on vacation. Easy source of jokes. I mean, things go wrong when you go on vacation, right? You could forget your ticket. You may miss your flight. Your spouse may decide to come with you. Things can go wrong. I'm just saying. Yeah. So find situations where things went wrong, and then you can easily play around with it and come up with content that will serve your purpose. Funny characters in your life who you've come across in Toastmasters. Anybody, the VP education. How many times have you tormented your VP education by not volunteering for roles or by committing to a role and not doing it? Yeah. VP educations tend to have a study recently conducted by the University of Colorado recently concluded that VP educations have a lower lifespan. Something to think about before your next XCOM. Funny characters could be somebody in your life who you remember. We just had the conversation at the beginning of this session where you were talking about classrooms. The minute you say classroom, I remember some of my teachers. Oh, there were fun moments back in school, right? We were all mischievous people back at school. Yeah, there were, I was one of those backbenchers who sits and, just enjoys and savors what happens. I remember a boy called Murli Krishna. He used to sit right in the front row. He was the one right at the middle. When the teacher would ask a question, before the teacher finished her question, he would answer 103 marks out of 100 in every sentence, every test. Yeah, the teacher's pet. Nobody liked him. Yeah, nobody liked him. So think about characters in your life. Come up with funny names. Things can connect with people. There was a joke that I usually try about an old professor back in my hometown. His name was Sundareshan Subramaniam, Dr. Sundareshan Subramaniam. We used to call him Dr. Susu. I don't know, that seems to be a funny word in many languages. I've tried it in different clubs, Indian clubs, Filipino clubs, Arab clubs, everybody laughs at that. So funny characters who you've come across, so these are all things that you can put into your speech, which are going to incite some humor. But the safest and probably the most effective form of humor that you could come up with is self-deprecation. Make jokes about yourself. It's fine. You're not offending anybody. You're making jokes about yourself. And believe me, everybody likes to hear jokes about somebody else. It always works. So pick something that you don't like or you feel is a bit weak about yourself. Like I make jokes about my cooking at the beginning of this. Trust me, I am the worst cook that you can find. I'm too lazy to even try getting better. Also, my wife is a good cook, so I don't have to. But yeah, I don't want to tell her that right now. Yeah, but making jokes about yourself is perhaps the most effective and easiest way to do things, and you can find a lot of content. Right? I'll tell you a little bit about my new hobby a bit later. Relationships, good source of humor. Husband and wife done to death. I would stay away from making jokes about your wife or spouse, but if it's mutual, it's fine. All right. So both of it, the relationship, how your relationship was with your parents, maybe. Yeah. Your parents were very strict, or your dad was very commanding, or your mom was very strict. Yeah. Things like that. Relationships is something you can easily find. These days, if you pick jokes about, how your children are, very techno savvy or how they're growing fast, lot of material. Easily you can find material about it. But look around you and bring content that you can easily deliver. See, the important thing is it's all about how you're able to hit these jokes, how you're able to deliver this content. So content that you're familiar with and that is relatable to the audience. Scoring material, that is. All right. So that is the content part. But then you still got to present this content in the form of jokes or in the form of humor, right? So I'm going to walk you through a few techniques that you can use to actually build humor from simple situations. The first technique is called misdirection. Now, we've already gone through a bit of misdirection earlier on. When we had the example, misdirection simply means you're leading the audience in one way and they're hitting the punchline in a totally different direction. It's like saying, it seems like you're going to be talking about a cow. Then you go tie the cow to a tree and talk about the tree. So it's completely unexpected. It's taking them in a different direction. That's what misdirection is all about. It's easy to set up. So let me give you a scenario. Okay, it's a lovely, beautiful July morning. This lady was walking through the park. The trees were, in full bloom. The weather was excellent. The birds were chirping. Lovely day. She sat down at the bench and she thought, ... So we've led them on a path which says that, okay, she thought about how beautiful the world is, how beautiful life is. Wonderful, isn't it? Correct. But that's for your international speech. For your humorous speech, right now, you need a change in direction. This story has to change. So she sat down at the bench and she thought, this paint is wet. Completely off track. Changes it completely, altogether. You never saw that coming. That's what makes misdirection effective. So basically what this means is you have to have a twist in what you're going to be saying. And that's where it becomes funny. So if you want to talk about, for example, I'll give you another twist that you could use, right? You talk about CNN and BBC and then say that your favorite channel is the thing that is most impacted you is BBC, all right? So everybody's now thinking about the channel, TV channel, BBC, right? And then you say BBC stands for big belly coming. Completely off track. It's a totally different subject. That's where you get people connected with you. That's where you can build on your humor. All right, let's try to apply this in different situations as we move forward. Now, another example of something that you can easily apply for humorous speeches is exaggeration. Exaggeration simply means something is so tall or something is so huge, or it took so long. It took so long to reach home from work today that I think my hair was turning white while waiting. Or it was so cold that the cow was giving ice cream instead of milk. It was so hot that you could make an omelette on the dashboard of my car. It was so. That's what it means. Exaggerated beyond belief. Sort of like a tall tale. However, keep it within the limits of a humorous speech. Right? Let's try this out. I'm going to give you something in the chat. And what I want you to do is give me an exaggeration based on that. So it'll be a simple premise. Let's see what you can come up with, right? So the premise I'm going to give you is, he was so tall that, you give me an example. You give me an exaggeration. I'll give you an example to start it off, right? So the one I'm giving you is, he was so tall that birds would build a nest in his hair. That's how tall he was. So the premise is, he was so tall. Put it in the chat. I'll read it out, the fun ones that I see. Let's see how creative you all are. All right, so I'm seeing some here. He was so tall that he was reaching to the moon. Yep, that would save us a lot in space travel and space exploration. Good for the debate this year, yeah. He was so tall that he hit the door. Yeah, if the door was above you, fair enough. Anybody else? Let's see what you can come up with. He was so tall like a date tree, like a date palm. Absolutely right. So it would be easy for him to pluck things out. He was so tall that the Burj Al Arab seemed like an ant. I love that. I love that. Absolutely. Definitely, you cannot go into tourism, that's for sure. He was so tall that Burj Khalifa was jealous. Yeah, Burj Khalifa got a complex looking at him. Fair enough. Fair enough. Keep it coming. Let's see what else you can come up with. He was so tall that he was the ladder at home. Lovely. Yeah. His children could practice climbing up. He's so tall that the clouds made the curls of his hair. Fantastic. Cloud computing at his best. He was so tall that I could not see his eyes. Probably for the better. Yeah, you could get sunburn looking that high. He was so tall, his head banged the moon. Lovely, lovely. Excellent, excellent. So that's it. I see you guys already had that humorous bone inside you. You just needed me to come here and tell you that, didn't you? Absolutely, lovely. People always looked up to him. Excellent. That is something very true. But, you can use that even for short people. For all the ladies in the house. It's not because I'm not very tall. You should always look out for husbands who are short. Definitely. They make the best husbands. You know why? They will always look up at you. Always. They will never look down on you. They will keep things short and simple. Never, yeah. They are the most grounded people you can find. Down to earth. Yeah. Good one, good stuff, good stuff. Or they could stand and pluck the coconuts. He was so tall that when it rained, his hair never got wet because the clouds were below him. Excellent, excellent. So you guys see, that's how easy exaggeration is. Put this into your speech the next time. See how you get the crowd rallying for you. All right. The next thing that I want to talk about is something known as a simile. A simile is very similar to the exaggeration you said. It's just you're comparing one thing with something else. So when you use the word like, that's what makes it a simile. Right? So when you want to say something is so difficult, like for example, the maths exam was so difficult. It was like finding hair on a bald man's head. That's how difficult it was. It was like finding parking at Dubai Mall over the weekend. That's how difficult it was, right? So like is very similar to an exaggeration, but except you're comparing one thing with something else. All right. Another thing that you could try is, I know you've all probably heard of the rule of three, right? We have it in, oh, is my time already up, timer? Seeing the timer is like finding the relief. So another thing that you could probably try is sarcasm. My cooking was so good that many people have suffered miserably because of it. Telling exactly the opposite of what it means. So you can put all of this together, right? So we spoke about misdirection, exaggeration, sarcasm, simile. Try putting all of this together into one scenario. We already battered my cooking a little bit already. So I'll tell you about another one of my favorite hobbies. Many people don't know, but I am an excellent singer. Absolutely. Guaranteed. In fact, I'm known as the showstopper. They had to stop the show after I sang because people were running away. Parents were complaining that their children were getting mental trauma because of remembering my song. That's how bad it is. If I sang near a graveyard, the dead people will come out to make me stop. That's how bad it is. Right? So you get the flow. Exaggeration, similes, sarcasm. Put all of this into one premise. Pick any one premise, self-deprecating, vacation, anything. Apply these, you will get 3 or 4 jokes on one sentence itself, on one situation itself. This is how you are going to make any situation that you get funny. All right. So use these tools and try and build your humorous content. Now let's move on because there's more than just content when it comes to humor. All right, let me go back to sharing my screen. All right, let's move on now. We all know Mr. Bean over here. Yeah. Amazing comedian, wasn't he? Everybody loved it. He hardly ever spoke a word. Charlie Chaplin, for example. They were able to make us laugh for years together with just their expressions, their body language, and the way they carried out their humor. Delivery is as important as content when it comes to a humorous speech. Your body language, the way you express, the energy you exude, that's what's going to make your comedy funny, right? If you're going to give it with low energy, that's how your audience is going to respond to you, with low energy. So you have to build it up and make sure that the audience connects with you. Keep them at that energy level, and then they will enjoy it. Your attitude, you can't have over-dramatized or angry attitude and try and hit jokes. No, it's got to be pleasant. It's got to be fun. You've got to have it in your eyes, right? That attitude is what's going to make your delivery of your humorous speech excellent. Your expressions, very important. If it's online, it is only your expressions that the audience gets to see. But if it's on stage, you've got your whole body working for you. You've got your hands, you've got your face, you've got your body language. Make them laugh with it. So it has to fit in with what you're trying to say, right? So connect your joke, express and emote along with that. That's what's going to have the impact. When you're on stage, remember, it is a physical performance. It's not stand at one place and hit your jokes. It's not going to work. It's not going to work everywhere. So you have to express, you got to move with it. Be wary of dramatization, right? It's a tricky one. So as much as your content demands it, that's what's a good limit to your dramatization. How can you test this? Record yourself or perform in front of your kids. If they laugh, trust me, it's likely that you're going to get the audience to laugh. If they don't laugh, forget it. Go back and write again. For those who are really daring, try it in front of your spouse as well. It could be tricky, but try it. See, I'm putting you in a spot here. All right, moving on from delivery. You've got to understand your audience, because in the end, like I said, if your audience responds to you, success. If your audience does not laugh, and that speech is a bomb, right? Remember that it is their time. So put content, characters, situations that are easy for them to understand. See, laughing has to come automatically. You should not have to think about it and laugh. That's a difficult thing to do, right? So don't try to make it complicated. Try and keep it simple. Simple premises, simple things. They don't need to have 7 lines of an introduction to hit your joke. It's not going to work. If you're going to tell stories about something in your family that happened, you should not have to tell the entire story. Yeah, my uncle Abdul Rahim was a coconut seller in this town in this age, and he had 7 coconuts every day. And no. You've got to keep it short and simple, right? You should not have to sell this many lines to actually get to your joke. It's got to be short. So keep it simple. Get content that people can relate with, that people won't be embarrassed by. Don't pick risky content. If you feel it's risky, my suggestion always is throw it out, find something else, right? So try to keep it simple, nice, people which your audience will connect with. What's in it for them, right? When you pick jokes off the internet, off your WhatsApp groups, remember your audience also has these WhatsApp groups. They may have heard this before. So it's risky for you to put it in there. If you put a joke and they think, oh, I've heard this before somewhere, then that's what they're thinking about, not your joke. So you've lost your audience there. Forget about the judges. The judges also, if they've heard it, they're not going to enjoy it as much as they would if it was a brand new joke, right? So you can adapt your content for sure, right? You find something on the internet, you can adapt it to your situation, mix it up, but don't put it verbatim, or don't take WhatsApp jokes as much as possible, because those will have been heard and they're not going to help you out. Can you involve the audience? Ask them a question which gets a good response. There are many simple tricks. Mostly you will see that the audience agrees with you. Like, for example, we had Toastmaster Farzana's question, right? How many of you are dummies? And everybody responded. That's how you will get the audience to respond with you. I'm going to ask you a question now, right? How many of you consider yourselves to be lazy? Raise your hand. Anybody? I see a few hands. Yeah. I see at least there are a few honest people in the group. Right. So, I mean, you guys are already raising your hand, so fantastic. Thank you for making me feel at home. And for all those who did not raise their hand, really, I underestimated how lazy you really are. You're too lazy to even raise your hands. Excellent, well done. So if you have content for the audience and you involve the audience in your speech, you're likely to have a really good moment and have them connect with you and be on your side. Remember, you need the audience on your side. You want them laughing like this gentleman over here, right? So engage your audience, keep them with you. If you are doubtful about content, drop it. Don't risk it. It's fine. Try and see if you can find something else. So getting your humorous speech ready for the contest is an iterative process. The first time, it may not be the best, right? So you're going to try it out in your club. You may try it out outside. You may just have a recording and view it. And then you'll see, okay, there's something that I'm not sure it's going to work. Try something else. It's fine, right? The day you deliver your first humorous speech, they're not going to put you on stage and charge people tickets to watch you. It's fine. Try your content out, see what works. And remember, you can't win them all. Sometimes jokes are going to fall flat. No matter how good you are, right? If it's a new audience or new content, it happens. It doesn't matter. Learn from it, see what did not work, try to refine it. That's what's going to get you better. Now, as important as it is to understand your audience, it's also important to understand what your style is, what works for you, what do you enjoy. Some people like wordplay, some people like, self-deprecating humor, some are good at storytelling, some like to dress up and act it out. Depends on you. Understand, try different styles out, understand what your strength is, what works for you, what you enjoy doing the most, and try to get better at that. Right? There's no pressure to be like somebody else. We all don't have to hit jokes, like Russell Peters or any other comedian that you enjoy. Find your style, find the content that you're comfortable with, find the style that you're comfortable with, and work on it. There are no set rules for the humorous speech like that, except not to be offensive to anybody and to finish your speech within the 7 minutes. So understand what works for you, what is your strength, and try to develop it. Important, organizing your content. Okay. So let me ask everyone a question and you can put it in the chat. How many punchlines do you think your 7-minute speech should have? 1, 2, 100. It's up to you. But guess, okay, if I see 5, 4, anybody else? 10, 6, 3, 1, 1. Big risk there. 6, 5, 7, 7, 7, 1 a minute. Okay. As many as possible every 30 seconds. All right. So you're getting the gist of it. My suggestion is aim for 12 or 15, 12 to 15. The reason is not all of them may actually work. Some may bomb. Happens. So you got to have your backup ready. So try to hit a good punchline every 30 seconds. It's a good guess. So 7 minutes, that's about 14. So 12 to 16 should be a good safe range for you to try. It's important to keep them continuous, right? If you have 14, you don't hit 3 of them in 10 seconds and then don't have a joke for the next 3 minutes, then hit 2, 3 jokes again. That's also not going to work. You got to keep that laughter continuing. Laughter is contagious. If you get them to laugh first, it's a good possibility that you're going to get them to continue laughing. Now, organizing plays a very important role when it comes to your humorous speech being successful. The first part, at the beginning, you need to have a strong joke connecting with the audience. That's your hook to get the audience on your side. So when you are working on your content, say you have 5 or 6 strong ones that you feel are definitely going to be winners, my suggestion is put 2 of them or 3 of them at the top of your speech and put 2 of your strong ones right at the end as well. Because you need these 2 points, the opening and the closing. It comes back to the basics that we learn in Toastmasters, opening, body, and conclusion, applicable for humorous speech as well. Opening, you need to get them on your side. So you need that hook in there to get them onto your side. So pick your 5 best jokes, put 2 or 3 of them at the top and 2 or 3 of them at the end, right? Pauses are like catches in a cricket match. If you miss your pauses, good jokes will not work, right? You need to let your audience laugh. So joke before the, pause before the punchline, pause after the punchline, absolutely mandatory. The jokes that you've worked on, you need to let them work. Improvisation, pulling content. It's not allowed to pull content from other speakers in a humorous speech contest anymore. However, you have the place where it's being conducted, the something that the contest chair has said, or if it's a normal meeting, pick anything from anything that anybody has said. Try to improvise with it because it's going to be something new, something unexpected. And unexpected always works in humor, right? If you have a successful joke that has hit the audience well, you got a good response, see if you can call back to that at a later point in your speech. It's already worked. See if you can milk it for more, right? Simplicity, keep it simple. They should not have to think about it and laugh 3 minutes later. No, not everybody is as smart as you. It takes time. So keep it simple. Make your speech as simple as possible, humorous, so that they will laugh. That's all you want them to do. You don't want them to solve E is equal to MC square and find, oh, ha, 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 ha. No, see it simple. Good characters, personalities, funny characters, try to show their action, however, etc. End strong. Why is it important to end strong? Anybody can venture a guess why it's important to end strong? I'll ask you a question. What happens when you finish your speech? You've hit your last joke, people are clapping. What happens right after that? So if it's a contest, what happens after the clapping is the judges start marking then. So if you leave them at a high energy, 65 becomes a 70, 70 becomes a 75. But if you lose out on that last joke and you end at low energy, what should be a 70 becomes a 65, right? So you want to leave the audience at high energy. All right, going back to my screens. All right, so we're done with organize. All right, let's look at humor overall, summary of what we just said. The key thing is how you say it. That's your winner. That's your deal breaker if you don't get it right. Understand your audience. Keep content that they can connect with, that relates to them, that is not too difficult to understand, and they will laugh along with you for. How you get material from your life stories. Pick things that seem funny. Self-deprecating is the best way. Try to use the techniques that I mentioned, exaggeration, misdirection, similes. Organize your content. Powerful jokes at the beginning, powerful jokes at the end, and keep the jokes continuous. Transition between jokes with simple lines, 12 to 16 in a speech, so that every 30 seconds you've got them with you. Understand your strength. Don't pressurize yourself to be somebody else. This is about being yourself, right? We want to make you a humorous speaker, not be like somebody else. So understand what works for you and try to develop it. Something's missing, right? There should be an R in there. All right. The R is rewrite, refine, retry. There's a saying that goes, and that's applicable for every kind of speech, and that is that great speeches are not written. They are rewritten. So rework your content, record yourself, see what works, see what the audience reaction is, see which were effective. The ones that were not effective, move them out, bring new content in there. Try to refine and redevelop until you have a speech that you're completely happy with. Okay. So on game day, the day of your contest or the day of your speech, get enough rest. You need to be lively, energetic. If you need a Red Bull, go for it. It's up to you. Red Bull gives you wings. It does not give you jokes. But if it gives you energy, fair enough. A strong coffee is good enough. Wear the right attire. You don't have to wear a suit and a tie and have gel in your hair to hit jokes. If you need to, you can, but wear whatever you're comfortable with. Yeah, that is respectable and will not get you thrown out of the auditorium, but wear the right attire. If you're playing a character or some role play as part of your speech, then wear whatever is suitable for that. Okay, get familiar with the stage, the audience, the room. You don't want any surprises, the mic, the stage positioning, how the audience is seated so that you're able to connect well. See how you're going to deliver this performance, visualize it. Eat right. It has never been a problem for me. Of course, for the people who I've cooked for, it has, but never been a problem. But make sure you're not starving to death and you don't have the energy, right? Talk to the contest master. Make sure they read your name outright. My name has been massacred multiple times, so I know about it. The title of your speech is important as well, right? If it's a funny title, it's going to get people interested. So make sure that the contest master can read it well. You don't want any surprises on that day. All right. So I hope all of these tips are going to help you develop your humor speech this time. And if you get all of these right, I don't guarantee that you're going to do a stand-up comedy show next week. However, your audience is going to go like this. All right. So I will end my session now and then we'll break for questions.
Wow. Thank you so much, DTM Hashim, for that wonderful, insightful, and entertaining workshop. Honestly, I learned a lot of tips from you, and I hope all our dear audience benefited from this power-packed 30-minute session. So my dear audience, let us put our hands together and let us give him a big round of applause to our humorous trainer, DTM Hashim Khalil. Moving ahead, may I request the Zoom master to open the feedback poll for the members? Audience, you are encouraged to ask questions by either raising your emoji hand or typing it on the chat box. As the members are doing the poll, I appreciate to start with the interactive question and answer session. We are done with the polling. We can start with the question and answer session. We are running a little late, so I would suggest you to start with the questions. Audience, are you typing it on the chat box?
Facilitator, you can continue with the question and answer session, please.
Yeah, or you can raise the emoji hand as well. All right. I will start with my questions, and there are few questions that has been asked by few Toastmasters. Just give me a moment. Yes. There is a Toastmaster who is asking, should my anecdote and the speech be of present or the past? DTM Hashim, can you please answer this question? This Toastmaster is asking, should my anecdote and the speech be of present or the past?
It's entirely up to you. Present, past, doesn't matter. If it's a past incident, try to present it as if it's happening. So like you were there at that time and it's happening. So keep the tense to be present. So you're relaying. So back when I was in school, this is how it happened. I was waiting. This happened. Okay. So try to present it as the way it is happening itself. But the incident can be from your past, can be from your present. You can create jokes of what you think will happen as well. It doesn't matter. That's entirely up to you. But anecdotes, past, present, both are fine.
All right. Thank you so much, DTM Hashim. There's one more question from the audience. She's asking, in a humorous speech, is the content important or the punchlines?
So try not to separate the punchline and the content. They go together. The punchline comes at the end of your setup, right? So it's part of your content. It's important to have material and a story as well. Remember, this is not stand-up comedy, so you're not hitting a series of punchlines or one-liners. That's not going to work here. It's a speech in the end. So you need to have your content flowing and the jokes need to be a part of that content, right? So it's not just punchlines, it's punchlines as part of your content. An add-on question to this, should your speech have a message? In my opinion, you're giving a speech with a specific purpose. That's what we learned in the second project of Toastmasters, Competent Communicator Manual and Pathways. Speech with a specific purpose. So let there be a message in your speech. And let the jokes and the punchlines that you bring lead up to that message. It's fine. It's not, you don't have to put any, what do you call it? Any motivation or any inspiration in it. It's a humorous speech after all. However, let it lead up to that one specific message that you want to give, right? So let your jokes be part of the content. That's what makes it a whole rounded speech. If you want to just hit your punchlines, we'll try that in stand-up sometime later once you're really proficient with your jokes.
Thank you so much, DTM Hashim again. There's one more question from Toastmaster Kamini. She's asking, they say the actions matter in a humorous speech, like the gestures and the vocal variety. How far is this true? Or even a simple speech with punchlines are good language or be a winning speech?
Eventually, when you are trying your Toastmasters speeches, whether it is humorous or any other, you want all of this to be in sync. Your expressions, your gestures have to go along with what you're saying. So don't think of any of these as separate. In my opinion, and this is my opinion, your actions, your gestures are equally, if not more important in a humorous speech. They are not the focus, agreed. However, they support or they substantiate the way you're saying it. So get your hands moving, get your facial expressions. If it's online, remember the whole focus is on this upper part of your body only. So have your facial expressions working and connected with the joke that you're trying to hit. Sometimes if you're giving a good joke, but if you give it with a very serious face, it may or may not click. There are people who do dark comedy with straight face, fair enough, but it depends upon your style. However, it needs to be in sync. So that's more likely to work. So do pay attention to your facial expressions, to your gestures. Don't overdo it, just be in sync with what you're trying to say.
Thank you again. There is a question from our PQD, DTM Saiju, who is asking, what are the tips and tricks for audience connection?
Other than paying your audience? Yeah, okay. You've got to see many of the things that I've told you help you connect with your audience. So few things in short that you need to remember if you want to get good audience connection is the timing of your jokes. The first opening part where you hook the audience into your speech, that is very important. If you get that right, then even if the rest of the jokes are not that strong, you're likely to get a good response. If you're not able to capitalize on that initial 30, 45 seconds, what happens is even if the content later on is strong, the energy is low. So you may or may not get a good response. So make sure that you utilize the first 30, 45 seconds importantly. Secondly, content that you take, the topics that you bring, you don't want your audience to feel uncomfortable, right? There are many topics that not everyone is comfortable listening to, so try to pick stories, content that are simple, relatable, that people will easily connect with, because in the end, that's what you want, the audience connection. And like I said, keep the jokes at a specific intervals, at least 30 seconds, there has to be something in there. Every second or third sentence, there has to be something in there to keep the audience along with you so that you don't lose your audience along the way. I hope that covers it.
Thank you, DTM Hashim. Well, since I don't see any questions, I have one question. How can I fix my speech about my dummy speech? As I said, I was dumbstruck and I started sweating and I decided not to give my humorous speech. How can I fix my dummy speech?
Well, I think Toastmaster Farzana, one thing is clear. The only way to fix it is to keep trying it again, right? If you would get it right the first time, then we would all be Shah Rukh Khan or Salman Khan or somebody like that, right? We have to get it wrong first, then fix it so that it becomes the best Farzana or the best Hashim or the best Saiju. So we've got to keep trying it, apply some of the techniques that I've suggested today. I guarantee you they will help you get better. So rework your content. You have time, but keep trying it so that it gets better. And one thing is sure, everyone here has agreed that they are all dummies when it comes to humorous, but step by step, we're going to solve that dummy issue. I hope that helps.
Agree with you. Thank you, DTM Hashim. There's one raised emoji hand from DTM Sriraman. I think there's one last question from DTM Sriraman. We'll take your question. Please go ahead.
Thank you, moderator, for that privilege of having the last word. DTM Hashim, thank you very much, first of all. Just wanted to know the power of three, the triads, and misdirection. Okay. Is there a correlation or are they independent?
No, see, there is a correlation between the power of three and misdirection. You've obviously heard the power of three in all your speeches, in the international speech, etc. Yeah. So basically you have 1, 2, and 3, which are connecting to a central thought or a theme. So I came, I saw, I conquered. is what you would probably use in an international or a motivational speech. The difference in a humorous speech is that the third one is going to be the misdirection. So I came, I saw, I forgot my key. Or I came, I saw, and I've had no idea why I reached here. Or I came, I saw, and I'm never coming back here again. So the difference between the international and the humorous when it comes to the triad is that the third one will usually be the misdirection, right? So the first and the second lead the audience in one way, the third one takes them on another tangent. That's how I would use the rule of three. I see a question on the chat about whether you're allowed to come off the stage or not. If it's a contest, generally there is a specified area in which you are to speak, which would usually be the stage and the edges of the stage. So in that case, coming out would be outside the rules of the contest. So it depends on the contest or the event that you're speaking at. Whatever they have defined as the area of your speaking, that's what's allowed for you.
Thank you, DTM Hashim. Sooner or later, everything comes to an end. Even a wonderful session like this has to come to an end. I, Farzana Niaz, facilitator for this event, is signing off. Now, for the closing and felicitation, I would like it to hand it over the Dynamic Division Director, Toastmaster Yaqub Al-Ibri.
Thank you, Toastmaster Farzana, and really it was a fantastic tips and I enjoyed it a lot. Now I would like to give a vote of thanks for our trainer, DTM Hashim Halim. Please, Zoom Master, can you just present the certificate for our trainer? So thanks a lot, DTM Hashim, for give us that's wonderful tips about the humorous speeches and how we can deliver the speeches. It was really wonderful from your side. Thanks a lot and really appreciate your help. And I would like to present also another certificate for our facilitator, Toastmaster Farzana. Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Farzana. Wonderful job facilitating all the activities which is related to this session. Many thanks to you, and it was wonderfully managed from the beginning till the end. And also at the end, also I would like to thank Toastmaster Zahra Al-Hajri to be the timer for our session today, and Toastmaster Kamini, and Toastmaster Hanan Al-Musalmi, and Toastmaster Shahnawaz to be in the organizing team for our session today. Many thanks to all of you. It is wonderfully being managed by all the team, and thanks a lot for the district team, DTM Siju and Toastmaster Namrata. Thanks a lot for your support. Without your support, it will not be happening, Yani. Dear friends, with that, I would like to announce that we are reaching to the end of our session today. With that, I will adjourn the meeting for our session. And thanks a lot. Looking forward to see you again, inshallah, for another training and another session for learning more in the Toastmasters. Thanks a lot, and see you, inshallah, later on. Thank you.